If you know me, you know that I like anime. It's a pretty common thing for people in the West to like anime these days with the insane popularity of series like One Piece, Dragon Ball, and Naruto, which is what you'd think of now when you hear of anime in the West. But they weren't even the start of what made anime popular here. The origin of popularity comes from shows like Pokemon and Sailor Moon. The word anime comes from the shortened Japanese word for animation, meaning that for us, when we say anime, we mean an animated show made in Japan, but they mean animated in general. But why don't people like anime or the community, as terms like weebs or degenerates get thrown around a lot? They can't even say they dislike the shows because they've never watched it. So why does there seem to be a prejudice around anime? In base terms, it's foreign. People don't like it because it's different from the basic sitcoms that people would sit down and watch. Back in the day of cable, before things like Crunchyroll, Netflix, and other sites, you'd have to go onto a TV and scroll channels until you found what you liked. This is where the beginning of anime in the West originated, because of Pokemon and Sailor Moon you could find on cable. But those would get outshined by series like SpongeBob and Adventure Time to most kids, causing just a lack of knowledge to most children of that age. There's also a slight chance of a pre-bias factor. Older generations may not trust Japan because of World War II. Between Pearl Harbor, the Axis powers, and internment camps, that would be a history video. But because of the event that had unfolded, this bias might exist, and it might not. It's hard to say. But now that anime has made its way into the West world, why do people still not like the anime community? Where do I even start? It's not like every fan is like this, and in fact it's almost the opposite. Whilst a majority of anime fans are average people you'll see, the bad examples seem to be what's prominent online. The main reason for that being is that regular people aren't good content, so these videos of people ruining the community are the ones that get pushed. But for the rest, there are three types of anime fans that I will be talking about: the creepy fans, the gatekeepers, and the Japanese culture fans. Each of them is annoying and weird in their own way, but usually they're lumped together, but not always. Think of it as a three-way Venn diagram. The first and least unappetizing type of fans are the power scalers and the gatekeepers. The reason that this type of fan isn't talked about as much online is solely because they only talk about it to other anime fans. These people will pick a character, die by that character, and believe that their character is the strongest. In some cases like Goku or Saitama of strongest, that would work. But when people say characters like Gojo can solo every verse and will not take anything else for an answer, that's when it gets annoying. They're also the type of people to base animes off of Instagram Reels or TikTok and base their character strength off of those clips. It makes the community afraid to share their opinion and causes a huge plummet in a positive community. It's like arguing with a brick wall. But since you really only see them once you started watching the shows, it's very easy to tune them out. The next two get mixed a lot, but they do have their differences. So we have the Japanese fans who believe that they are so sugoi and want to move to Japan for no other reason besides anime. These are the people that you would see living at home as they are saving up their money to move to Japan with no job. Usually they are big shut-ins, but aren't weird about it. Unlike the degenerates. These are the fans that you would see obsess over the female character of a series and buy body pillows and figures. Now I want to say that buying figures is not a bad thing, as I own a few, but when you buy characters only for the appeal, that's when it becomes really, really weird. We don't need another Gojo incident. These fans are the ones that you could see in public and could usually spot them a mile away, or smell them in some cases. They usually get mixed in with the Japanese culture fans, and usually are interchangeable, but both have slightly different aspects. I again want to say that this isn't all the fans, and honestly, isn't even half of them, but more on that later. So why don't other communities behave like the anime community? Since you're not going to see a Suits fan go feral over Mike Ross, so there must be a good reason, right? If you've ever seen an anime show, you know about fan service. Usually it's where they bump up some aspects of a character solely for the appeal of the audience. This is why with popular anime, all of the characters are objectively attractive to a group of people as it helps with viewers. Usually it tends to be female characters that are most fan serviced, but there are still a decent chunk of male characters that are fan serviced for the other gender. Fan service is one of, if not the most annoying thing about anime. There also tends to be a lot of fan service scenes, for example, bath scenes that are solely meant for fan service and almost never add anything to the plot, causing a really awkward experience to viewers that aren't into it. You are either going to find someone who doesn't like fan service or a degenerate who loves it. That's why lots of people, when they say they like anime, are called degenerates because of these scenes. This also correlates to merchandise sold. I've seen stores in malls that are just fan service characters, but that was also in the Mall of America. I want to say that I have nothing wrong with the Mall of America, it's just that I've seen the stores. The problem is, fan service is a thing that's not going anywhere soon, as people in the West and East have different beliefs on that topic. I believe that fan service will stay, but might slowly die down later on, but you never know. So after all that is said, what's the final stance? Should you or should you not give it a try? I don't care. Well, I believe that if you want to, you should be able to, shame-free, but if you don't want to, for reasons then, that's understandable. I believe it to be no different than shows that we see here in the West, as there is a huge variety in what you can watch. If you don't like animation in general like some people that I know, then that is a completely fair reason. Other reasons like, I don't want to read subtitles, then watch dub. I personally don't get the hate for dub, as I find it to be more funny, but that's a different video that I may or may not make. There are a lot of beginner animes that aren't that weird in terms of fan service or stuff that was listed before. I believe that we should just let people like what they like and ignore the opinions of the internet when it comes to topics like this, as you're the only one who can really decide what is or isn't right for you. And if you're one of the fans I talked about in this video, I'm not sorry. Well, that's all for today. Make sure that you like and subscribe and leave a comment with your opinions on the matter, as I would highly enjoy seeing your takes on the topics that I have talked about. Also, a big thank you to my friend who wrote an essay on this topic with the information listed before, and I'll post a copy of that into the description below if you want to check it out. Another thanks to Brock Talk and Brock Talk MSM, which between me and you are the same guy, who drew the guys you see on screen, so go make sure you subscribe to one of his channels. Probably MSM because he doesn't post on the other one. Link in the description to those two channels below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all later.